AlAnsaar presents Ramadan special. Read, recite, reflect.
ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. Our Lord, perfect for us our light and forgive us. Surely you are potent over everything. Mujahid states that the believers will recite this dua at the time when they will see that the celestial light of the hypocrites has disappeared on the day of Qiyamah. Hazrat Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "He who reads a single durood upon me, Almighty Allah blesses him 10 times. 10 of his sins are forgiven and he is increased 10 times in stages." Hazrat Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu also narrates that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "On the day of Qiyamah, the closest to me from amongst the people will be those who have read the most amount of durood sharif." Quran, 30th Juz Summary. The recitation of the Quran is completed in this 30th Juz, which commences from Surah Naba, ending with Surah Nas, the 114th and final surah of the Quran. In Surah Naba, Allah says that the punishment of Jahannam has been prepared for those people who deny the truth of Islam. When the trumpet is sounded for the day of Qiyamah, the skies will be divided into many roads through which people will pass in droves towards the plain of resurrection. The acts of every person will be disclosed, and Allah will decide the punishment or reward that every person will receive. Surah Nazi'at follows Surah Naba with the message that people will regard their lives in this world to be a mere morning or evening when they face the torturously long day of Qiyamah. The severity of the day of Qiyamah will cause people's heart to tremble. They will recall their acts in the world and will regret whatever they did, because Jahannam will be shown to them. In the subsequent surahs, Allah tells Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that people with wealth and authority are often beguiled by what they have and therefore do not accept good counsel. On the other hand, poor people tend to accept more readily. Therefore, devote more attention to those who have greater fear for Allah so that they may attain spiritual purity. When Qiyamah will take place, no one can be of any assistance to another, even though they may be brothers, parents, children or spouses. Every person will be too concerned about his own predicament to be worried about another. The faces of the mu'mineen and the pious will be resplendent on that day, while the faces of the kuffar and sinners will be gloomy. Allah points out to people that they will have to tread the straight path to be saved from the anguish and suffering on the day of judgment. On the day of Qiyamah, the sky will be rent asunder, bodies will rise from their graves, stars will plummet down, and the oceans will be ablaze. Every person will be confronted by his acts on the plain of resurrection, where none will want to know another. In Surah Mutaffifin, Allah condemns those who cheat when weighing and measuring and warns them of a terrible punishment. Allah cautions mankind to be aware of that day when they will all rise from their graves and stand before Allah to account for every act. On that day, it will be the mu'mineen who will laugh at the kuffar who scoffed at them in this world. The sky will be cleaved open when the trumpet is sounded, and corpses will be flung from their graves. Whereas the pious shall be quickly relieved of the formalities of the day of Qiyamah, the sinful ones will be flung into the fire of Jahannam. These were the people who thought that they will never be returned to Allah. Allah says further that those who harass believing men and women without repenting afterwards shall suffer a terrible torment in the Akhirah. Allah also mentions that the Quran is a lofty book that is preserved in the Lawh al-Mahfuz. The Quran distinguishes between right and wrong, and those who still adamantly adhere to the wrong shall be granted only a little respite. Allah commands Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to glorify his praises and assures him that he will never forget the Quran. Allah further instructs Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to continue propagating the deen, for Allah shall open up avenues of ease for him. Allah urges people to ponder over Allah's creation so that they may recognize him. Allah says, "Have they not looked how the camel is created, and how the sky has been elevated, and how the mountains have been rooted, and how the earth has been leveled?" All these signs are for people to take heed before they are taken to task on the day of Qiyamah. Allah admonishes man for his excessive preoccupation with material wealth, because it leads him to abuse inheritance and to refuse help to the poor and orphans. Allah advises people to spend their wealth only for His pleasure and with no other motives. None should be proud about being able to do good, because only Allah grants people the ability to lend a helping hand to the needy. Allah assures Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah will soon confer on him a bounty that will please him, and that he should never feel that Allah has forsaken him, because Allah has always been there for him. Allah has illuminated his heart, elevated his worries, and elevated his name. Allah consoles Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that ease also follows hardship. Therefore, a person's attention should always focus on Allah. Allah is pleased with the righteous, and they are pleased with him, because they are the best of Allah's creation. As for the evildoers, they are the worst of Allah's creation. On the day of Qiyamah, Allah will be so just that even a good act the size of an atom will be rewarded, and a sin just as small will also not pass unnoticed. Allah says that man acknowledges that he has an ungrateful nature, but his intense love for wealth does not permit him to mend his ways. Allah reminds mankind to be mindful of the day of Qiyamah, because they can never fathom the flaming inferno of Jahannam. Man is reminded that he will have to answer for the wealth that he possesses, which makes him negligent of his duties in this world. Besides the righteous mu'mineen, the rest of mankind is at loss. Allah warns man that every tale carrier and miser is destined for Jahannam. In Surah Fil, Allah illustrates how He used little birds with pebbles to destroy the army of elephants that Abraham brought to demolish the Kaaba. In the next surah, Allah tells the Quraysh that they should worship He only, because it was Him who made their city a sanctuary of peace. In Surah Ma'un, Allah condemns those who rebuke orphans and the poor and who are vain and miserly. These are the ones who remain negligent of the salah. Allah consoles Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by telling him not to let the taunts of a certain kafir affect him, because it will be the very same wretch who will be without progeny and will be nameless in history. Allah urges Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to continue performing salah and offering sacrifices, because Allah shall soon award him with the proud pond of Kawthar as a gift in the Akhirah. In Surah Kafirun, Allah clearly distinguishes between the mu'mineen and the kuffar, so that the one is not confused for the other. Allah makes mention of the culmination of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's duty in Surah Nasr, and commands Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to engage in excessive glorification and praise of Allah. Surah Lahab curses Abu Lahab and his wife, because the couple harmed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam immensely. Surah Ikhlas declares, say, He is Allah the One. Allah is independent. He is neither the child of anyone, nor has He any children. There is none comparable to Him. Surah Falaq is an invocation to Allah for His protection, and makes reference to the witchcraft that was intended to harm Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Finally, Surah Nas. Surah Nas invokes Allah's protection against shaitan's instigation and traps.